90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they worked so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
The remarkable soybean. From its oil, we get products like ink, candles, and paint. From its meal, we get a high-protein fiber used in foods and animal feeds. Natural soy is replacing chemicals and products you use every day. You can learn more about soybeans at vasoybean.com.
Would you like to put your business in front of rural America and the ag community every week? We have sponsorship opportunities available that will do just that. Get in touch with us to hatch a new plan.
Hi everybody, welcome to Virginia Farming. I'm Amy Rocher. Modern consumers want to know where their food comes from and how it was produced. This week we'll observe new procedures involving humane turkey production. Our host will be Dr. Temple Grandin, a renowned animal behavior scientist and named by Time magazine as one of the top 100 most influential people in the world. We'll also get an update on the forecast for retail food prices. And we'll learn about modern technology found in seed corn. It's all straight ahead on this episode of Virginia Farming. The year 2016 was an unusual year for food shoppers in the U.S. For the first time in quite a while, prices actually went down. But where are we headed with food prices in 2017? Gary Crawford with the USDA has a special report on the topic.
We food shoppers got a break at the grocery store last year, a break that hasn't happened in almost 50 years. A yearly overall drop in food prices of 1.3%, but it does not look like that's going to happen in 2017.
We're now expecting to pay 0 to 1% more in 2017.
Agriculture Department food price economist Anne-Marie Coons with her latest forecast, but that does not mean that some foods won't drop in price again this year. Beef, we saw prices fall last year by over 6%, pork down 4%. Coons told us that for this year,
we adjusted our forecast for beef and veal downwards. We're now predicting that we'll pay 1.5% to 2.5% less for these items. And then pork, we're now expecting to pay 1 to 2% less for pork items in 2017.
Also expect price declines for eggs, fruits, vegetables, fats, and oils like butter and salad dressings. But Coons says those declines may not make up for price hikes for chicken, fish, bakery products, prepared meals, and snack foods. So is there any chance of a second yearly drop in grocery prices this year? Coons says it's possible, not likely. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Washington.
Thank you, Gary, for that report. The month of March is Peanut Month in Virginia. Farmers in our state grow about $10 million worth of peanuts every year. The peanut industry is observing the occasion by donating more than 7,000 jars of peanut butter to food banks. They're also challenging other agricultural commodity organizations to do likewise and contribute much-needed food items to their local food relief organization. Well, the seed industry has changed dramatically over the past few decades. The changes we have seen in seed technology have made it possible for Virginia farmers to feed more people than ever before.
Modern, high-yielding crop production in Virginia has been made possible by significant increases in seed technology. Whereas your grandfather may have gone down to the feed and seed store and ordered a bag of seed corn, modern farmers use seeds that are tailored to certain production aspects and the environment on their particular farm. That's according to Steve Collins with Virginia-based Augusta Seed, who says the technology used in seed corn increased rapidly starting about 30 years ago.
Roundup Ready trait, which protects you as an herbicide trait, protects the crop against overspraying with Roundup, came about in the 1990s. And then very shortly thereafter, we started adding insect traits to put with that to guard against corn borers and rootworms, which can be devastating to corn crops.
In the year 1990, the average corn for grain yield in the United States was 118 bushels per acre. By 2015, the average corn yield had increased to 168 bushels per acre. That's an increase of 42% in just one generation. Pressure from weeds and insects was reduced dramatically. Collins says the progress in overall corn production is undeniable.
When these traits first came about years ago, there was a lot of corn borer and rootworm damage in our fields. Through the use of these traits, we've eliminated a lot of it to where we don't have so much anymore.
Most of this new technology with seeds is due to field research, but a lot is accomplished in the laboratory. That's according to Brian Jones with DuPont Pioneer.
Of course, it all starts with the germplasm base. At DuPont Pioneer, we have one of the largest germplasm pools of anybody in the industry, and that really is the foundation of your breeding program and where you go from there. Without that germplasm and the initial ability of that corn plant to perform, really you can put all the traits on you want, but it still comes back to that germplasm.
Jones says farmers have more options than ever before when it comes to selecting the best seed technology suited to their individual farm.
You should start with a good relationship with your seedsman, for sure, or your agronomist. So it starts with that foundation. But then it also begins with having a knowledge base of information about performance on your farm. So if you have a yield history from a number of years in the past, that's sure helpful. Knowing your soil types and knowing where you're going to put those products are very important as well. We have certain corns that will do better under more stressful conditions. We have certain corns that will do better under higher yield or irrigated conditions. So just knowing where to place these products on your farm is extremely important.
So where is this exciting technology with seeds going in the future?
Oh, I think we're just going to continue to see more technology evolve. That's the way of the world. That's what makes the farmers more competitive so that they can continue to farm and compete on a world market. These insecticide traits, these herbicide traits, it reduces trips across the field. It reduces the need to add insecticides, spray that on the plant. You don't need to do that. And so as we go forward, I think we're going to see more and more traits added to these plants, if there's an advantage to it.
Jones says the future looks bright from his perspective.
So it's an extremely exciting time to be in my business and to be in agriculture. Some of the new DNA breeding technologies that we have are going to radically change the face of corn breeding. So the next 10, even 5 to 10 years are going to be a major step change in the way we advance corn products and in the technology that we can bring to the producer.
It has been said that the American farmer will have to feed a lot more people in the next generation. Research indicates that by the year 2050, the world's population will reach 9.1 billion people. That's 34% higher than today. Food production will have to become even more efficient than it is now.
The advances we are seeing in seed technology are not alone. Modern science is creating new opportunities all across the industry of agriculture. Well, we have a special edition of Ag Insights for you this week. Renowned animal behavior scientist Dr. Temple Grandin will demonstrate various aspects of humane turkey production. Dr. Grandin appeared on our show several years ago, and it's a pleasure to welcome her back to Virginia farming, even though it's not in person. On this occasion, Dr. Grandin takes us on a tour of a modern turkey farm and processing plant. We'd like to thank the National Turkey Federation and the American Meat Institute for their cooperation in providing this video. It's coming up next on Ag Insights.
I'm Temple Grandin. I'm professor of animal science at Colorado State University. This is a large barn full of turkeys ready for market, and we're going to be showing how they load the turkeys, and they're going to be herding them like cattle. They go up a conveyor, and then show them going through the whole entire process. I am really pleased that we've got this opportunity today to see this barn full of turkeys, and we're going to watch them being loaded onto the trucks tonight and going on through the processing plant. And it's just not possible to bring tour groups for all of these places because of disease requirements. I have to wear these clothes, and then I had to be away from all birds for over a week before I was allowed to come here, because you got to be really careful not to bring in diseases. These are typical large sheds where turkeys are raised for up to 19, 21 weeks. Today we're going to be loading out from one of these barns. A question that came up was, are the turkeys in the buildings afraid of people? Well, if people regularly walk through the barn and get the turkeys used to people walking through them, they'll come up to you. I mean, I had males displaying to me and showing off to me. Birds that are afraid don't do that. On a really good farm, a person will walk through the entire building, walking through the turkeys, the whole entire building, to inspect for animals that might be sick, animals that might be injured. It gets the birds accustomed to people walking through them. These sheds have curtains on the sides so they can be opened up in summertime to keep the building cool, close them up in the wintertime. Those are the waterers. And when the birds are loaded out, the waterers are left on. It's always important, always have access to water. You can see right here we have a lot of space. They have not started to load out yet. This is a normal stocking. You get into a building that's overstocked, you wouldn't have this amount of space in market-ready birds. They're getting the truck backed up now, and they've got some wood panels set up in kind of a funnel, and then the truck loaders will come in and move small groups of turkeys, similar to moving cattle, up in small groups, and they jump on the conveyor, ride up into the conveyor into the truck. What they're doing here is bringing up groups of turkeys, and there's a conveyor in there. The turkeys ride up the conveyor into the truck. As the birds ride up this conveyor, they remain upright. They will stand on the conveyor as they go up, and they'll be loaded into compartments. This whole entire conveyor can be raised up and down to load the different level compartments on the truck. One of the advantages of using a machine like this is it doesn't get tired. People get tired, and these birds are really, really heavy. Notice that there's an operator there, and he's controlling this. And then he's got to go back and shut the doors. But I want to emphasize, good equipment makes it easier to have good handling, but you also have to have management. They've got to make sure they operate this equipment correctly. The equipment we have now today is such a big advantage over what we used to have. This turkey conveyor is a really big improvement. This is a truck arriving at the plant after loading at the farm, and a plant employee is going to inspect the load of turkeys to make sure they were loaded correctly, make sure they didn't have trapped wings or other obvious problems. The next step is to weigh the truck with all the birds in it. And then after the birds are unloaded at the plant, the empty truck is weighed so they can get accurate weights. Another really important part of this is record keeping. And the plant employee here at the computer is entering the name of the farm, name of the loading crew, time that the load arrived. This is all really important information for tracking down problems. The truck is backed into a holding shed, which is equipped with a big bank of fans. One whole side is just solid fans. And it has misters to blow on the birds to keep them cool. It's extremely important not to let them get overheated. In the summertime, the trucks have completely open sides. You've got to have that for ventilation when it's 90, 100 degrees hot Fahrenheit. In the wintertime, the birds would get too cold if they were in open trailers. So fiberglass panels are put into the side of the trailer so that the birds do not get cold. In the summertime, it would be too hot to have the sides of the trailer covered. The trailer with the birds in it is pulled into the unloading bay, and there's a hydraulic lift, and the cage doors are open, and an employee moves the turkey into the conveyor, takes it down into the controlled atmosphere stunning. This window you can see in here, watch the birds as they get anesthetized. One thing that's very important with poultry is you have to have a slow, gradual rise of the CO2. The pig plant, you very quickly put them into 90%. You can increase the CO2 levels faster than you can for chickens, but not as fast as pigs. And you have to get that just right to avoid flapping and escape movements trying to get out of the chamber. The truck pulls into the unloading bay. The employees are on hydraulic platforms that go up and down. They open up the cages and they pull the birds out and hang them live on the shackles. And they go through what's called a water bath stunner, where their head is immersed in the water and there's an electric current passed from their head through the shackle, and that will make the bird insensible, electric stunning. In order for electrical stunning to make an animal insensible, it has to cause some epileptiform activity in the brain. When the birds emerge from the stunner, you will have some twitching and movement, but you have to make sure there's no blinking. And when I'm training people to audit electrical stunning, I say go out into the holding shed. I want you to look at the live birds in the holding shed and see what a natural blink looks like. This shows the anesthetized turkeys emerging from the controlled atmosphere stunner, and then the employees will place these birds on the shackles. You can see the heads are very limp, they're coming out completely limp. Now, if a turkey was actually fully conscious, he would put his head up like this. That's the position they would be in if they're fully conscious. If the turkey's got a long neck, it will curl up like this. The next step is birds go through an automated bleeding machine. Any bird that missed the automatic cutter would be cut by the backup man, because it's absolutely essential that all birds are cut before they go into the scalder, because we absolutely have to make sure that live birds never go into the scalder. The birds are now emerging from the scalder, have had their feathers softened up by the scalder, and then the next step is to go into the picking machine, which has a whole lot of rubber fingers that rotate that take off the feathers. There are a few little bits and pieces of feathers still attached, and employees on the line will remove those. And then the next step is to put them on a different type of shackle that just holds them by the drumsticks because the feet have been removed. And then they go further on down the process where the insides are taken out. The first step in making sure that carcasses stay clean is a hose is used to evacuate feces. It's very important to avoid fecal contamination on the carcass. And then as the turkeys move down the line, the innards are removed in varying steps. And it's really important during these steps to not rupture and break the innards, because again, that would contaminate the carcass. Many of these processes are done by hand in turkeys. This would be very similar to pork processing plant. In chickens, a lot of these processes are highly, highly automated. But in turkeys, they're bigger, the lines are slower. So these, step-by-step process of carefully removing the innards is done by hand. At this point, there is a USDA inspection station where the innards of the bird are inspected. In all types of meat processing, you don't want to waste anything. So all different parts of the animal get different uses. At this point, they're cleaning out any remnants that might be left after the innards have been completely removed. There's an employee that does checks for carcass defects. This is a really important part of the plant's quality assurance program. Also, it's part of continuous improvement. These sorts of inspections are really important for ensuring quality product. This shows turkeys going into a chiller tank to get chilled. And this particular plant uses water bath chilling. The turkeys are chilled for 5 hours. The birds are emerging from the chiller, going to have to be rehung back up on the shackles so they can go into the deboning line and be taken apart. Another really important part of maintaining good animal welfare at the poultry processing plant is auditing, measuring things like bruises, stunning efficacy, broken wings, damaged legs, because you manage the things that you measure. So auditing is a really important part of good animal welfare. I get asked all the time, do I eat meat? Yes, I do. I'll eat turkey, beef, chicken, pork, all of the different animal proteins. And I feel very strongly we got to do things right. If you're interested in more information, lots more information on animal meat plant issues at my website, www.grandin.com.
Our Pearl of Wisdom this week comes from an anonymous viewer who says, never confuse fame with success. Lady Gaga is one, Helen Keller is the other. You can submit your own Pearl of Wisdom through our website at virginiafarming.com. That does it for our show this week. Be sure to tune in next week as we salute agricultural educators, specifically FFA advisors. It's going to be a lot of fun. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Amy Rocher for Virginia Farming.
"90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.
Virginia soybean farmers are hard at work growing soybeans to produce products you use every day. Candles, soaps, even crayons can be made from soybeans. Remember, when you buy soy, you're helping to support American jobs, the economy, and our nation's energy security.
Well, this is Agriculture Literacy Week here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Morgan Slavin, tell us about agriculture in the classroom and what you do.
So this is an exciting week for us with agriculture in the classroom because all of our volunteers across the state come together, go out into classrooms and read our book of the year. March 6th through the 10th is our Agriculture Literacy Week for 2017, and we have a really awesome book, and it talks about the processes of getting a farm ready for winter, but it crosses all the different seasons and a lot of different commodity groups and how you prep for wintertime. And it's a really awesome way to touch on all sorts of Virginia ag.
How can people support this effort? Is there a website?
If you visit our website, agintheclass.org, there's an order form on there. You can contact our staff and we'd be happy to set you up.
Well, thank you for everything you do, and happy Agriculture Literacy Week. Agriculture Week is March 19th through the 25th, 2017. Did you know Virginia agriculture generates 311,000 Virginia jobs and has an economic impact of $52 billion a year? On average, a Virginia farmer produces enough food to feed 155 people each year. Take a minute, March 19th through the 25th, to thank a farmer for what they do. This message brought to you by Virginia Farming Television in commemoration of Virginia Agriculture Week.
Check out Virginia Farming on Facebook. Virginia Farming's Facebook page is a great way to stay connected with Virginia agriculture. You might even find some humor there too. You'll find links to events and happenings all over the Commonwealth that are of interest to farmers and consumers alike. So connect with us and share your stories and photos with the Virginia farming community and keep up to date on all things agriculture. Virginia Farming on Facebook.